Have you ever felt like life pulled a rug from under you? One day, everything is normal. The people you love are around, your plans are set, your dreams are within reach, and then, in an instant, it's all gone. Imagine standing at the border, carrying nothing but a small bag and your child. Behind you, the life you once knew is reduced to rubble. Ahead of you, nothing is certain. This is the reality of millions of people today. War, displacement, financial collapse, and life-changing events have forced people to start over from zero. But here is what they don't tell you. Survival is just the beginning. The real battle is what comes after. Today, on Podcast with Sheila, we bring you a story of resilience, survival, and hope. A story that might remind you of your own struggles, your own moments of loss and rebuilding, and by the end of it, I hope you take away something powerful. Because no matter what you're going through, there is always a way forward.
Don't play with it, don't be dishonest.
Meet Nadia. She was a wife, a mother, a banking professional, a woman with dreams, routine, and a future she had carefully planned out. She and her husband had just started saving for their first family holiday. Their 2-year-old son had just spoken his first full sentence. Life wasn't perfect, but it was theirs. And then came the sirens. That night, everything changed. The war reached their doorstep. The explosions shattered the city, sending waves of fear through every home. Nadia grabbed her son and ran to the basement of her building. She sat in the dark, heart pounding, listening to the distant echoes of destruction. At dawn, her husband sent a short message. "Leave now. Take our son. Get to safety. I will find you." No time to think, no time to argue. She packed one bag, some clothes for her son, important documents, and whatever cash she had. She looked around her home, the place where they had built their life, knowing she might never see it again. She stepped outside to a city she no longer recognized. Streets once filled with laughter and morning traffic were now filled with fear and fire. The journey to safety was hell on earth. She stood in freezing temperatures at the border for hours, her son clinging to her, crying from hunger and exhaustion. People around her were breaking down, families separated, elderly parents left behind, hope slipping away. When she finally crossed into safety, she thought the worst was over, but survival is not the same as living. Refugee housing was the next stop, a small, crowded shelter, a room with a thin mattress and shared bathrooms. Back home, she was somebody, a professional with a career. Here, she was just another displaced woman with no job, no security, no idea what came next. Days turned into weeks. The loneliness was suffocating. The guilt was worse. Guilt for leaving her husband. Guilt for the parents she couldn't bring with her. Guilt for the son who had lost his childhood overnight. And then came the fear. Fear that she would never get back on her feet. She applied for work, any work. She was rejected again and again. The rejections weren't just about money. They chipped away her dignity, her self-worth. Then one day, she made a decision. I will not let this be the end of my story. She started taking English classes. She joined support groups, meeting other women just like her. Slowly, she began to rebuild, one small step at a time. Her first job in the UK wasn't in banking. It was in a cafe. It was humbling, but it was hers. The first time she received her paycheck, she cried. Not because it was much, but because for the first time since she had left home, she felt like she had control over her life again. She saved what little she could, found a small flat, enrolled her son in nursery. And then, one morning, she looked in the mirror and saw someone new. A survivor, a fighter, a woman who had lost everything and still found a way forward. Lessons to take away. Nadia's story is not just hers. It belongs to millions of people facing sudden loss, forced change, and the challenge of rebuilding. Her journey teaches us some powerful lessons. 1. Life is unpredictable, but resilience is a choice. We cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond to it. 2. Starting over is not failure. Sometimes, life forces us to begin again in ways we never imagined. It's okay to take small steps. It's still progress. 3. Guilt and grief are part of the journey. When life changes overnight, we grieve the life we lost. But we must also allow ourselves to embrace what's ahead. 4. You are not alone. No matter what you're facing, there are people out there who understand. Seek support, ask for help, and connect with those who have walked a similar path. Next, hope is the most powerful survival tool. As long as you believe that tomorrow can be better, you'll find a way to get there. Join us live every Tuesday. Nadia's story is just one of many. At Podcast with Sheila, we bring you real life stories of resilience, survival, and triumph. We believe in spreading positivity and hope because sometimes hearing someone else's journey can remind you just how strong you are. I'm excited to announce that every Tuesday from 5:30 p.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. UK time, we will be hosting live recordings with incredible guests sharing their powerful real-life experiences. This is your chance to be part of a global conversation, to listen, to share, and to find the inspiration you need to keep you going. So what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button, follow Podcast with Sheila, turn on notifications so you never miss an episode, because your story matters and the world needs to hear it. Follow Podcast with Sheila and stay inspired. Until I come your way again with another inspiring story, stay safe, stay tuned, and take care of yourself. Remember, change begins with you. Have a brilliant day. Bye.